So it is November 8th, 2018, WIKISPEED weekly stand-up. So Michael Olchuk in Saskatoon. We got Lauren in Gabriel Island, BC. And I guess you want to start us off, Lauren?
Sure. Yeah, this is Lauren Salter. And this past week, really did very little except I'm going to show some stuff in show and tell, or in cross show and tell. So I came across, or I was exploring some things that might later be relevant. Yeah, so and coming week, I'm working. I got the information I need to do the charitable status reporting form, so I'm going to take a shot at finishing that. It's as with always with the tax schedules, the basic is like 5 minutes, and then there's all these schedules and things you have to attach. So I did download another schedule, a schedule, one schedule at least, and the instructions, and I'm going through that. So I did do that. And then the blocks, I kind of, I got my trip to Europe set up, started to set up anyway. I have 1 week of 3 set up where I'm meeting up with my family. So that's a block, and that's kind of partly out of the way. And I'm actually like cleaning out major stuff. So I identify, it's not the garage, it's a spare bedroom, but there's things that I need to be assessed and sold, and pictures taken of them. So I've been doing that. So that's it. That's it for that part of it.
Okay, it's Michael Olchuk in Saskatoon. Last week I didn't get a whole bunch of stuff done for WIKISPEED. I actually got enough of my garage cleaned out that I can fit my truck in, which is almost an epic win. I can't yet fit my wife's SUV in, so that's what's happening this weekend. And I got a bunch of stuff that some of which I didn't actually remember that I had identified, so I can take it into a different building and store it. And if I haven't gone back and looked at it by this time next year, it's going to get recycled. So that was last week. Next week, I'll spend a little bit more time on the garage and see if I can get one of the Polaris's in to actually start working on brakes and suspension. Preparing for trying to take apart my failed controller here probably next month, which will at least be back on open source controller and WIKISPEED stuff. Blocks, nothing besides time. It's getting into a busy time of season as it is with everyone. And that's about it for me. Back to you, Lauren.
Okay. So the retrospective would be, I'll give myself a 4 because I remember that extra thing. And the team is up because of you hit your goals. So I'm going to give the team a 7. And I agree with your written process improvement of advertising. Advertising this event, and a little writer to that is I noticed the heading, the subject on the meeting it says Hangouts. So I suggest taking it out. I think it should be agnostic as to platform. So just say stand up, high five.
Okay, so was that the calendar invite or was that the email going out?
Email
okay.
Subject.
So we'll have to get Chris to change that one. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give myself a 10 because I actually got done what I planned to get done, which was a bit of a shock. And retrospective for the team, I'm going to agree with 7. I'd like to come up with different ways to advertise that we're doing stand-ups again, but I can't think of any. So I'm not sure what else to suggest, I guess.
Now, one thing is, I got a feeling there's stuff going on. You know, and when Joe would just carry when he used to just carry his device into the workshop, and there was like 3 or 4 people would jump on. So, you know, maybe just keep in touch with the different shops and maybe each of us ping people we know just before the meetings, and you know, emphasize that it's not a we're not having we don't have a large group at this point, but it doesn't take as long.
Yeah, I mean, any velocity we can get is going to help. So that's basically it for our stand-up. Hopefully the recording will work okay this time. We'll get it posted. Are you getting some background noise?
Yeah, I hear a little bit of like a mouse rustling around, but not a lot.
Yeah. Okay. I was just wondering if something was skidding around on a microphone or something. I wonder if that's my laptop. I thought I muted it. Yeah, it says it's muted. Oh, no, it doesn't. Darn, it was this side. Okay. I have to check better next time.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Yeah, quiet it down now. Hopefully it doesn't make the recording too hard to hear. So you were going to do a little bit of demo on crosstalk.
Yeah. So with this like paper I get, I still really like to hold something in my hand and take it to bed and read it. So I'm old school that way. I have a tablet and I do stuff with the tablet, and actually that'll figure in. So this is a recent Make magazine.
Okay.
So they're talking about basically hardware AI. There's been little dribs about it, and so I've kind of been looking at things. It's just got some very sketchy general ideas, as well as it's got a kind of the thing I was talking about last week, a list of courses, free and pay opportunities. And I did look at I think it was a TensorFlow course, tutorial or something like that. My thoughts on it are, I want to be aware, because some of them just give you the mechanics and see without really explaining anything that's going on. There's actually kind of some mathematical prerequisites, brush up on calculus and linear regression, or pardon me, just linear algebra, and probability. So that's pretty hefty brush up. That you should be comfortable with, and just doing the mechanics, I didn't want that. Anyway, I was checking at the library here. I think I mentioned it, and they have updated quite a bit of their stuff, including video options that are, to me, somewhat better than Netflix. Yeah. I think I mentioned that last week, that
Yep.
there's some surprising resources at the library now, because the library to me is like a 20-year-old book on BASIC or whatever. It's not really good, but I actually found 2 recent books on Python, both of them for kids, but I don't care. That can be an advantage in some ways. So I got these because for AI stuff, it's kind of moving towards Python and Python related languages.
Hmm.
And then I saw this at the library. This is a few years old. So as soon as I got it, this one is from 2014, which is really, really old. And actually, this is not about AI, but yeah, so it's Raspberry Pi for the Evil Genius. But I just had a feeling about it. So as soon as I got home, I went to the internet to look up, is there a next edition? So in fact, there's another book, and I was reading reviews and things, and there's another book which is like the update from 2016. It's Raspberry Pi Electronic Projects for the Evil Genius. And the Evil Genius part, everyone agrees, is a false come on. There's nothing evil about any of the projects. So not even mildly, not even mildly questionable. Anyway, yeah, sure enough, there was this other book, but I read the reviews on it, and they said this is a super advanced book. You should read his old book first, which has a good introduction, then read the updated edition. But then I came across, I was looking at the author's name, and I came across something, and it was another generation of books, but it's Creative Commons open source. So I've got the PDF on my tablet now, and he's not a great writer, in my opinion, but he makes it's actually quite good in that he kind of takes on the whole thing, the background, and a little bit of quite a bit of background, as well as examples and so forth. And it's Raspberry Pi AI with Raspberry Pi. I turned it off and I remember what it was. Oops. Sorry. Yeah, anyway, it's something about AI, using Raspberry Pi for AI. And there are some products like the camera that like video chips and sets and peripherals to go with the Raspberry Pi, which have built-in AI. And I think there's some chips like that are subsidiary, maybe graphics type chips to do AI with Raspberry Pi. So I got that book. Yeah, so and I'm exploring it. Really, it's just the long-term goal of being able to at least understand what's going on with the autonomous driving.
So just a question. You're saying AI is going on Python? I remember Python from like the 80s. Obviously, It must be different. Or is it different?
I think it's more like 90s, or am I wrong on that?
Well, I believe it was one of the languages that Linus put on Linux.
Yeah, and Linux was built and came out in very early 90s.
Okay, but it wasn't but he didn't create Python. It was already out, I thought.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly the thing. I do remember at a Linux conference in the 90s where Linus was there, newly arrived from Finland in California. And there was another European guy with a big stuffed snake around his neck who was a major Python creator. And he was talking about it, but I don't know the actual origins. But
yeah, I'll have to look it up.
But yeah, there's an AI thing called PyTorch, and there's some other things. I'm just starting up my tablet to get that reference, or I can send it. Yeah, but yes, Python.
You can just post it.
Yeah, so there was a project called Spark, which was for fast data things. big data and fast data analyses. And it used either Scala or Python or Java. But then everything seemed to kind of begin to center around Python because of its data capabilities. Because yeah, so like AI involves data analyses like now I'm trying to remember. I probably get these wrong, but linear regression and things like that, and then iterative processes.
Oh, and neural nets and large data sets.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, so
Okay.
there's other languages, and actually he mentions 3 languages. Yeah, like there's a few, because basically there's a lot of mathematicians involved, and so there's several languages that they like. And actually in this book he has yeah, so Mathematica, remember that program for math?
Yep.
Yeah, so that is now part of an open source, at least some version of it is part of an open source tool, which is considered AI. So he talks about that. So, and like I said, what I'm looking for is that I'm trying to avoid is where they just give you the mechanics, but it involves really complicated or advanced math, and they don't kind of give you that, or give you an idea that, well, you would really have to spend a few weeks doing this, that, and the other thing to understand what this is doing. So I often with these things, I end up as a hopefully educated consumer rather than a developer.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Statistician. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I should probably go here. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Well, I've got this thing up. I'll just read the name of the book.
Okay.
So I use Google Play Books, and so that you can download any PDF, and then it'll keep track of where you are in the book. Kindle does the same thing with PDFs. So the book is called, it's by Donald Norris. And like, I can't recommend the writing style, and I don't know, I'm kind of assessing them the way we assess software and stuff, to see how feasible it is to really do much with it. But the idea of the Raspberry Pi actually was simply, in Britain, it was developed to provide a computer, an affordable computer.
Yeah, that was why you had to plug it into a TV, if I recall.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, it's coming. Come on. Yeah, here it goes. Beginning Artificial Intelligence with the Raspberry Pi, 2017.
Okay.
And it was on a website, and the website says everything is Creative Commons. It's also a book from A Press, I think it's called. A Press.
All right.
Yep. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'll talk to you next week.
Yep. I think we've run out of stuff to talk about, at least for the short term.
Yeah. No. That was good. I appreciate it.
Okay. I'm just going to shut the recording off, and we will see you next week.
Okay. Bye now.